Guten Morgen, mein Herren. Willkommen zum Strongman Finanzen. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance, everybody. I've been paid to make this video. I got a direct deposit into my bank. Cha-ching! And I'm going to make a financial analysis video on plug power, or as I like to call it, butt plug power. If you want me to make a custom video for you, you can send me $40 and I'll make it. So let's go ahead and do this analysis because somebody paid me their hard-earned money and I'm going to make it worth it. So what is plug power? What is this stock all about? Well, since I don't know much about it, I'm going to go to Wikipedia. It gives me a broad overview, a nice, easy summary, and then I can dive into the financial reports. But then again, you know, looking at Wikipedia is not good for citations, right? For your little high school class. Okay. Anyway, Plug Power is an American company engaged in the development of hydrogen fuel cell systems that replace conventional batteries and equipment and vehicles powered by electricity. So what does this tell me right off the bat? Well, I can see some massive negative numbers on the bottom right there, but we'll talk about that later. But what this tells me is that this is probably a stock that was massively pumped up during the pandemic. Why? Because every alternative futuristic, it's the future bro stock went up during the pandemic. Let's go look at an overview of this stock. So what does it say on stockanalysis.com? It delivers end-to-end clean hydrogen and zero emissions fuel cell solutions for supply chain and logistics applications, on-road electric vehicles, stationary power market, and others in the United States and internationally. Does it really have international revenues? Well, I guess we'll see. It engages in building end-to-end hydrogen ecosystem. Okay, blah, 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 blah. There's too much to read there. So let's go ahead and actually look at the stock price. Holy crap. What in oblivion is this? So apparently this company's been around for a long time. Okay. When I first saw this, I was like, I'm confused. This company has been around, it looks like, for a very long time. It looks like it had a massive pump during the, I'll show you a massive pump. It had a massive pump during the dot-com bubble. Then it crashed. And then it has this little itty bitty bump down here. You see this cute little bump? Oh, that's so cute. Woo-hoo. So if we actually go to the 5-year, we can see the pump again. So once again, during the clown market, before it was trading in the 2s. Then it pumped all the way to 66, and now it's come crashing down to 929. So I guess if you had bought during the clown market, you'd still be up massively, which is actually pretty surprising. So let's look at the overview of the financials. First thing I like to look at is revenue growth rate. I see a massive expansion in revenue over the last couple of years. I also see negative revenue in 2020. That's hilarious. But over the last 2 years, they've had massive revenue growth. Now, if we look at the quarterly revenue growth, we can also see that the revenue growth rate is still pretty significant, all right? They're growing, at least over the last quarter over quarter, they grew their revenue 36%. That's pretty impressive, okay? So we can see revenue is finally starting to take off. It basically was like, you know, really small, and then all of a sudden it starts growing, you know, right after the clown market. And they're probably benefiting from the Inflation Reduction Act, potentially. So the next thing I see is negative gross profit. Okay, what does this mean? They make stuff. They make hydrogen cells, or they make hydrogen-powered vehicles, whatever they make, okay? They are spending more. The cost of making their things is more than what they're selling them for. They have a negative gross profit. I can tell you from an accountant's perspective, that is god-awful. That's disgustingly bad. That is not good to have a negative gross profit. That's like unheard of in reality, in real life. That's unheard. Like, who actually does that? Like, I've done like tax returns for small businesses. You know, I'm a corporate accountant now. I've done tax returns. Okay, I've never seen a negative gross profit in a business ever. And these are small businesses. This is a publicly traded company. Oh my God. So let's see. Selling, general, and admin expenses have massively exploded, and they've increased at a much faster rate than revenue. R&D has exploded. Other operating expenses, whatever that is. And basically every single expense you could possibly imagine has exploded. Their operating income Oh my God. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Oh boy. Quality video, right? I already got paid for it. Massive negative operating revenue. They've never had positive operating revenue. Massively negative net income. Let's see what their actual margins are. So gross margin, negative 36%. Operating margin, negative 97%. Profit margin, negative 101%. Free cash flow margin, negative almost 200%. Oh my God. Let's see how fast their share count has gone up. Massive increase in shares. Obviously, when a company isn't making money, the only way they get more money is by borrowing it or issuing shares. Okay. I think this personally, this stock could go anywhere. Okay. A bunch of clowns could pump the stock. This stock could 10x tomorrow. Does that mean this is a good investment? In my opinion, no. From a fundamental standpoint, based on the historical earnings, it is massively unprofitable garbage. Massively unprofitable garbage. This is like this is a clown stock. This is a clown stock. Okay. Doesn't mean it can't go up. Oh, clown stocks can go up. Did you see Palantir today? I got you. Palantir went up. Clown stocks go up all the time. AMC is a clown stock. Sometimes AMC goes up. But if you buy the stock and then it goes up, did you actually did it go up because of a change in the fundamentals? Or do you think it's going to go up because clowns pumped it? I'll leave that for people to decide, okay? But when I see negative 100% profit margins and a company that's been publicly traded for decades and it's never turned a profit, that's not good, okay? Balance sheet and statement of cash. So let's go ahead and look at the Form 10K, okay? So I've talked about this before. I like to read a couple things. So the business, we kind of understand. They're in the hydrogen fuel cell business, okay? They're trying to work towards a greener world. Now, I saw a brief summary of some of the risk factors. So they actually have the risk factors in detail, but they also have a bullet point summary at the beginning, okay? So here's some of the risks. We continue to incur losses and might never achieve or maintain profitability. If they become profitable, it's going to be years in the future. I just don't see how a company that has a negative 100% profit margin and has never turned a profit is going to be profitable in the future. Maybe anything could happen, right? The stock could go up. That can tomorrow the stock can 10x, 100%. They could be profitable at some point. But with a negative gross margin, it's going to be a very, 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 very long time. I don't even know. Is it possible? The risk that we will need to raise additional capital to fund our operations, and such capital may not be available to us. 100%. 100%. They're going to have to raise capital. If you have negative operating cash flow, you will inevitably have to raise capital. 100% it will happen. I don't know exactly when, but it will. Okay. Global supply chains, blah, 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 blah. Here's something: the risk of loss related to the inability to remediate the material weaknesses identified in internal control over financial reporting as of December 31st, 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, and 2018. Their accountants are so jacked up that you can't even trust that the processes and procedures of this company will actually produce good financials. This is saying you cannot trust the financials, okay? When the auditors look at companies like this, okay, they for publicly traded companies, they give you an opinion. They give you an opinion on two things in particular. They give you an opinion on internal controls. Internal controls are like processes and procedures that are implemented inside a company to achieve a certain desired objective. Like, for example, if you have an accounting system, if you have an office of accountants that do all your accounting for your business, you want to have internal controls to make sure that, this guy signs the checks and this guy mails the checks. It helps prevent fraud. And internal controls in relation to financial reporting help make sure that the numbers that you're spitting out are actually accurate. This is saying their internal controls suck and they can't fix it. They've had problems with this for 5 years. Oh my God. Oh, look at all these risks. Okay, dude, if you're investing in this company, you need to read these risks. Okay. You got to read the risks. Let's go ahead and look at the auditor's report. I can't wait to read this thing. Let's see, where is it at? Actually, well, let's go to management's discussion and analysis first. Butt plug, our current projects, the Gin Drive, the Gin Fuel, the Gin Care, the Gin Sure. And I actually read somewhere they call their factories gigafactories. I'm not even joking. Gigafactories. Just like Clown Elon Muskrat. Look at that. Oh, but they got so many projects strong, man. Okay, negative gross margin. 100% profit margin. Negative 100% profit margin. That's just not, man. This is a pure speculative. This is like buying a crypto. Okay. This is basically buying a crypto. Okay. On December 5th, 2022, the company is wholly owned, entered into a definitive agreement and closed on the acquisition of 2 subsidiaries of Cryogenic Industrial Solutions. Okay, well, they're making acquisitions. I wonder where that money's coming from. So there's all sorts of stuff here with management's discussion and analysis. Let's see. What is their crappiest, most unproductive product? All right. So sales of fuel cell systems, they generated, is that actually in thousands? Okay, 500. Yeah, fake email. 558 million for the last year. And so they actually have a positive gross profit on sales of fuel cell systems related to infrastructure and equipment. That's interesting. Okay. What are they losing money on? Services performed by fuel cell systems. Negative 68% gross margin. Power purchase agreements. Negative 206% gross margin. Fuel deliveries to customers and related equipment. Negative 239% gross margin. Okay. And this is even more concerning. So look at the year ended December 31st, 2021. Their gross profit from sales of fuel systems, which is the vast majority of their revenue, thankfully, was 21%. Even their only profitable gross margin item has dropped. The margin has dropped pretty significantly, okay? Everything's getting worse, okay, except for services on fuel systems. Everything's getting worse. But the lion's share of their revenue, their actual one profitable segment of their revenue, has a declining gross margin. Oh, man. It's just not good. Oh, let's see. Okay, so they go into it, but they basically talk about how they calculated all the revenues and blah, 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 blah. So let's go ahead and look at the balance sheet. I don't like looking at this necessarily. I mean, it's like good for an overview, but they don't really go into enough detail on here. So let's go ahead and look at the balance sheet. All right. Where's the auditor's report? Where's the auditor? I want to see this so bad. Let's see. Auditor. There it is. Deloitte and Touche. Deloitte and Douche. I'll never work for public accounting. Let's see. Okay, let's read the report. Opinion on the financial statements. We have audited the financial statements. In our opinion, the consolidated financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the company. Okay, so the auditors are saying they're giving reasonable assurance, which still a little terrifying to me because they have terrible internal controls. Okay. They're at least saying that the financial statements there's a reasonable assurance that the financial statements are accurate. Okay. Doesn't mean they are. It just means they're giving you reasonable assurance. Okay. They haven't turned over every leaf in the company, but they do at least look at they're at least giving you reasonable assurance. We have also audited the company's internal control over financial reporting. And our report expressed an adverse opinion on the company's internal control over financial reportings. An adverse opinion is bad. Now, I mean, the last time I've even done audit was during the CPA exam. When you see adverse opinion, that's bad. Okay, so their internal controls, their company's accounting leadership is a bunch of clowns. Okay, it's probably the same people that do Tattooed Chef. Let's see. Critical audit matter. The company's contracts with customer generally contain multiple performance obligations and the total transaction price, standalone selling prices. The company also blah, 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 uses an adjustment. Okay, they're not really saying anything. Okay, so basically they're just talking about some critical audit, like important things that came up in the audit. Basically, how the company recognizes revenue, which can get pretty crazy because if you have a contract, you could have multiple performance obligations. This has to be done. This has to be done. You have to recognize revenue in certain order. Blah 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 blah. I don't want to deal with that. Okay, and it's not super important to the overall understanding of this company. Okay, so yeah, so basically they suck at internal controls. Now let's go ahead and look at the balance sheet. Okay, here's the big daddy right here. So let's see what happened. Let me see if I can zoom. Why is this so long? What is this? Or wide? What is this? I don't understand. Cash and cash equivalents. So they had $2.4 billion of cash in 2021. And now they have $690 million of cash. Does that mean they burnt it all? No. Not necessarily. You can look at the statement of cash flows, but their cash balance has significantly declined. What do they buy? Well, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Restricted cash available for sale securities at fair value, amortized cost. So basically, they have some of their cash parked in bonds. It looks like probably you'd have to look at the notes to see what these are. Okay, but I don't see a massive change. It doesn't look like they dumped a lot of their cash into bonds or whatever. Equity securities. Okay, they have some stock, 134. They probably have partial ownership in some businesses. Okay, accounts receivable, nothing crazy. Inventory has gone up pretty significantly. Okay, inventory has gone up by, it's more than doubled on their balance sheet. Hopefully they could sell it. Contract assets, no real change. Prepaid expenses, nothing really crazy. So overall, their current liquid assets have dropped by $1.1 billion over the past year. Restricted cash. They have money set aside for whatever they're going to do with that. Property, plant, and equipment has gone up by almost $500 million. Okay, so they took some of their cash and potentially bought some property, plant, and equipment. Okay, that's one place the cash could have gone, but it doesn't account for all the cash being gone. Let's see. Equipment, contract assets, goodwill. They bought some other companies. We saw that earlier. Intangible assets. They bought some intangible assets. So we can see their cash didn't just disappear. Okay. Some cash went into buying property, plant, equipment. Some cash went into acquiring other companies. Some cash went to intangible assets. So they didn't just burn all their cash. Little foo-foo. All right. Let's see. Current debts. Okay. Accounts payable. Okay, nothing insane there. So their total current liabilities are $635 million, and their current assets are $3.3 million. Overall, they're probably not going to go bankrupt within the next year. Okay, that's my opinion. Let's look at long-term asset or long-term liabilities. Deferred revenue. Let's see. Convertible notes. They got some debt sitting on it. Long-term debt. What happened to this long-term debt? So there's a massive decline in long-term debt here. I wonder if it went to current portion of loan. No? Where'd that debt go? Did they pay off their debt? They pay off some debt? Maybe they did. We could see some long-term debt has gone down. We'll see in the statement of cash flows. And now we go to where the real story is. Equity. So how did the company's equity go up or down? Well, we can see common stock issuance. Okay, they issued as of December 31st, 2022, they had 608 million shares issued, and the prior year they had 594. So the dilution of shares issued this is very rough, by the way, 2% dilution. So they issued some shares, but nothing insane, right? Additional paid-in capital is up. That comes from share issuance. Accumulated other comprehensive loss. That's basically from, we can actually check and see what that is. Where did that come from? Available for, so a lot of the accumulated other comprehensive loss, which doesn't hit the income statement, came from those available for sale securities on the balance sheet. So basically, when these go down in value, you don't see the losses on the income statement. You see them in comprehensive income, but you kind of know because if you go look at the equity section, you can see accumulated other comprehensive loss has gotten more negative. So we know those securities have gone down in value. Okay, it could be bonds they bought or whatever. Let's see, accumulated deficit. So they've had massive losses. Massive losses. Okay. And they have comments. They're buying back stock. What? They bought back some stock. Okay. So overall, their equity has gone down by $6 million. They burned $6 million of shareholder value in a year. Good job. Okay. Let's go look at, so we know the profits. All right. We already looked at the profits. They have negative, everything's negative, massively negative, disgustingly negative. Let's go look at statement of cash flows. Like, it's not even worth looking at the income statement. It's just all negative. Like, what's the point? All right. Operating activities. So we can at least get a better picture with the cash flows here. So losses are getting worse. Let's see. Depreciation. Stock-based compensation has gone up. Wow. Look at that. There's been a massive increase in stock-based compensation expense. And what is that going to lead to? Oh, if the stock goes back up, those employees are just going to exercise those stock options, and you're going to get diluted even more. Okay. Let's see. Warrants. Anything crazy on here? Let's see. Inventory. So they had a very large purchase of inventory. Okay. They're dumped. I guess they think they can sell it. But remember, the more inventory they buy, the more losses they incur because the inventory becomes an expense when you sell it. Okay. So the biggest thing I see on this operating activities is a massive increase in stock-based compensation. And they're dumping a significant amount of cash into inventory. That's what I see there. Okay. Let's look at investing activities. So they spent $436 million buying property, plant, equipment. They dumped $838 million into available for sale securities. And then they sold some, and then some matured. So it nets out to not really much of a change. So most of their investments went into buying property, plant, and equipment. The buildings, the tractors, blah, 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 blah. That's where most of their cash for investments went to. All right. And then they spent $56 million on an acquisition. And then they bought looks like $38 million of like stock, like investments in other companies' stock that they don't actually control. So that's that. And then we have, let's see, financing activity. So they have payments of contingent consideration. That could be anything. It's insignificant. Taxes for stock options. Payments on okay, so they used some of the money to pay off that long-term debt. That's what I saw. I was wondering where that long-term debt went. They paid it off. Proceeds from finance obligations. What is that? I wonder if they issued some other kind of debt. Proceeds from finance obligations. But so they paid off some long-term debt, but then it looks like they took out some other kind of debt. That's what it looks like right there. So basically, they didn't really pay off debt. All right. So overall, I mean, I don't know what to say about this company, man. Like, it hasn't turned a profit in 2 decades. It just burnt. It's just a furnace of money. I mean, we can skim the income statement real quick. I mean, let's look. Okay. I don't get it, man. Like, it's so bad. It's just bad. Okay. So yeah, gross loss. Let's see. Yeah, their selling and admin expenses went crazy. That's probably stock-based compensation. Operating loss, interest income, interest expense. Yeah, I don't see anything that really jumps out. Okay, so they bought some stock in other companies, and they took massive. So they're investing in other unprofitable companies. Look at this. Loss on equity method investments. So they bought other companies. When you don't fully control another company, you sometimes use what's called the equity method. So it's like Berkshire Hathaway. They'll own companies, but they won't control them. And when those companies have losses, your ownership of those losses gets reflected in your income statement. So you can see this loss on equity method investments. Plug Power acquired other companies, and those companies are booking losses. And some of those losses, according to the rules of accounting, are required to be put on the income statement here. So they're buying this clown stock is buying other clown stocks, basically. Okay. I don't know, man. I'm trying to be positive, but I can't. It's just, I don't know what to say. So overall, like, I don't think it's going bankrupt within a year. That's the only positive thing I can think about this company. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's just not good. That's my thoughts. All right, let's do some comments. Let's see. World and boners are powered by butts. Yes, butts are the center of the universe. This stock has never made any profit, I believe. It has been yeah. Holy crap, man. This thing's a pure, it's like a cryptocurrency. It is a pure gamble. Meet Kevin did a video. Of course he did. He pumped them up to 20 or yeah, everybody become hell. Wow. Hyliion was the OG hydrogen-powered EV company during the the clown market. I can't wait to dump on the Hyliion too. Seth is rolling over in his grave right now. Poor Seth. If you've lost money listening to Christopher Bell, you may be entitled to a large cash settlement. Contact our class action team today. Okay, let's see. Lost or did you lose some quarters in your car? Sue me. Let's see. I lost money buying VT. How do I get money? Yeah, you're all going to sue me for VT. Don't want to bet. You clown. I just made a video about Palantir. God, you people, man. Let's see. I'm here to see Strongman shirtless. Because I can see myself. I'm actually looking at myself right now. I look pretty good. I actually lifted weights today. What is this guy rambling on about? Okay, let me reintroduce this concept to you guys. You click this link. Take your fat little finger, your misshapen fat little poop-covered finger. Click this link. Read if you can, or have your mom read it because you still live at home. And once you understand and digest what this link tells you, you're going to end up sending me $40. And you're going to email me, and then I'm going to make a dedicated video for you. That is why I'm making this video on butt plug power. It has nothing to do with Jeremy Lefebvre. I just wanted to put Jeremy's face on there, and I wanted to put a butt plug on there. And I did it, okay? I don't care about ad revenue. I don't care if this video 10Xs. You pay me $40, I'll make whatever video you want. You want me to tell you about life? You want me to tell you about kids? You want me to tell you about, I don't know. If putting this in your eye will hurt you, you give me $40, I'll make a video about it. That's what I'm rambling about right now. All right, let's see. Damn, bro, you're making a killing off that $40 for a dedicated video. I really should copy that. That's more than we make on YouTube. Do it. Any video. Yeah, the only risk is, some of the videos obviously aren't going to perform that well. Like the CGFM video, yeah, nobody wants to watch the CGFM video. So, if you're worried about your channel, you want all your views to be consistent, it may not be a good thing. But you can even do like private videos too, like, hidden videos if you want. But yeah, I've got like 6 other videos lined up after this. So Strongman's, he's making a pretty grifting penny off of this. I'll just tell you that, okay? Are you beefing with Chris? Well, I wouldn't consider it beef. He doesn't acknowledge me. He's just a clown. I'm sorry, bro. I'm really going to have to copy your idea. You're making a... I know. I'm just going to quit my job now. I can retire. I'm making $40 for a video. Double bicep pump. That's going to cost you $40, sir. You want to see me flex those buys? $40. I'll just make a video. Stock-based compensation plus stock buybacks when Biden introduced an extra tax. Paying extra taxes for no reason. It's the future, bro. It's the future, bro. Shut up. They have the stock only exists so the board can print shares and bank. Yeah, that is the biggest grift. You start a company, you say it's the future, bro. You pay yourself a huge salary, by the way. So even if the company's losing money, you're still getting a salary. You understand how this works? Okay. You issue yourself shares. If the stock price pumps, you cash them in. Like, you can't lose as a grifter, man. Let's see. Squeal for $40, I'll squeal like a piggy. For my R2 deployment, I am going to Okinawa. Time to get some rookie. What is this? Why did you go to Afghanistan? I don't know, man. I just did what I was told, okay? $40 per buy. Yeah, $80 and I'll flex. All right. That's it, guys. I don't know. I got more videos lined up. I may not do any more tonight, though. I'm tired. My butt's sore from the butt plug. All right. Talk to you later. Cheers.